Welcome back to another episode of Hoosier Quick Hits. Alongside Kevin Highland, I'm Dimitri Bubaris. Indiana holds on 74-68 to knock off Minnesota at home. This is all coming after their first conference loss last Tuesday against Wisconsin. Indiana escapes this one. They hold on by a thread, but the three-pointers, which is what made Indiana's win over Minnesota last year so emphatic, it wasn't there today. The bulk of their points came in the paint, and a big part of that was Thomas Bryant, who finished with a career-high 23.
He's shown people why he was such a coveted recruit coming into Bloomington. He shot 11 of 13 from the field, and 3 of those, the last 3 field goals that Indiana had, just emphatic, so important in this win for the Hoosiers. The last one, the one that people are going to remember, Minnesota gets it within 1. Yogi Ferrell pushes the pace, and what he said in the postgame press conference was a weird play. Minnesota must have thought Indiana was going to slow things down, really run out the shot clock. Said Yogi Ferrell pushes the pace, finds Thomas Bryant wide open for a dunk, really put the exclamation point on this win, which was much closer than people probably thought it would be.
Better constantly, and because he's putting even more focus on his ability to get better defensively. And so he made adjustments inside of the game. He's a quick learner. And he was always a presence. I think he got better as the game went on. I don't think he posted as strong at the very beginning of the game. And then I think, the couple rebounds or dunks or a couple of the post moves got him going. But it was just one of those games that you have to find a way to win, and no matter what. And he did a lot of things in the game that impacted the game. He also had some moments that you want back, but that's all part of it.
And I think the main thing, we weren't getting enough driving kicks, making their defense have to collapse. So basically every time we shot it, they were basically there and they could contest it. Felt like we didn't get any push-outs enough. It's probably on me. Definitely didn't push the ball enough this game. But we definitely did rush a few shots. Probably could have cut more on our offensive sets.
And Kevin, it felt like a tale of two halves. Indiana started off the first half somewhat slow. They go into the half up 12 points, and then Minnesota was able to climb their way back into it. And a big reason for that was a lack of transition defense. Yogi Ferrell was quick to point that out in the post-game press conference.
Not only transition defense, but just Minnesota was able to get to the bucket so frequently within the second half. 2 guards for them each had 21 points apiece. So you know what? The game was much closer than people probably thought it would be in the first half. A lot of people thought Indiana was going to cruise in this one, and it certainly looked like that going into the half. But like you said, Yogi Ferrell pointing out in the postgame press conference that the team transition defense was just a huge problem, and it wasn't to do with anything fatigue-related from a late game, an overtime game Tuesday night in Madison against Wisconsin. It was just a lack of effort in transition, and that certainly hurt the Hoosiers in the second half.
Our transition defense was terrible. We weren't getting back at all. No matchups in transition. You got Thomas on the point guard. It's not what we want. Terrible communication. I think that them running out in transition, kind of took away our legs. We were a little tired, and when you're tired, you can't talk. So now you got 5 basically quiet, tired players on the court. I mean, it's kind of hard to play defense that way.
Well, the Hoosiers are back on the road at Michigan on Tuesday and then Penn State later in the week. Michigan's a big game because Ann Arbor's always a tough place to play in. The Chrysler Center is going to be bouncing, and it's a big one for one player in particular, Max Bielfeldt, who was a transfer from Michigan. He finished with 8 points tonight. You got to imagine that trading in the maize and blue for the cream and crimson, Bielfeldt's going to be pretty amped to play on Tuesday night.
It's always an interesting game when you go back to your former school, and especially for Bielfeldt. Bielfeldt's a guy who won a Big Ten title with Michigan, a guy who went to the national championship game with Michigan. So lots of memories up there for Bielfeldt. And Yogi Ferrell said in the postgame press conference that Max is going to want it more than anybody coming up next week, and he's going to just drive into those guys and really get the most out of them that he can, because it's going to be a big game for him, and it's going to be a big game for Indiana. Like you said, going to Michigan and going to Penn State next week, 2 road games, pivotal if Indiana wants to maintain their lead on top of the Big Ten. Right now in sole possession at 8-1, half game ahead of Iowa. And Iowa, the opponent that's lurking, the next time we'll see the Hoosiers in Assembly Hall, 2 Thursdays from now, February 11th, they'll be going up against a top 10 team potentially in Iowa.
I mean, yeah, I know Max wants this, more than anybody on the team. And even for myself and the seniors, this is our last time playing in Ann Arbor. So we definitely want to go out there with a W. And, I know Max is going to be in there being hard on us, especially this game, just helping us out in what they like to do. And we're just going to go in there with the mindset to get the win.
And Kevin, you want to hit the ground running. coming back to Assembly Hall to play a top 10 team in Iowa. So these next 2 games, both on the road, they're going to be monumental. All right, Indiana wins it 74-68 over the Golden Gophers. They are now 8-1 in conference, which means that they're in sole possession of first place in the Big Ten for the time being. They're also undefeated here on this court at Assembly Hall. For Kevin Highland, I'm Dimitri Bubaris. This has been Hoosier Quick Hits.